Okay, guys, and good morning. We are back at it, and we are about to talk about understanding volume for beginners. Volume is a key statistic that you need to understand how to follow along with to know what type of trend that stock can take. You'll have a low stat stock. If that stock is low in volume, it might not be moving. You'll have these most active stocks, so we can see like CRKN getting up to almost a billion in volume. That's a massive volume for a stock to be getting up to. And then when these stocks start to get up to a certain price, you notice that they start to slow down in volume. I'll show you, for example, on your last 3 month gainer on NUKK, for example. We see these things start to slow down in volume as they rise in price because of many fast traders and penny traders and day traders need the volume to get the volatility in that stock. When you see the volume starting to pick up and that volatility starts to pick up, when that volume outdoes the average volume, that stock can go in for a wild ride. It's all about timing those things. But I'll tell you one thing as well. Your technicals have to support it. Whatever's going on, whatever your key statistics say, whatever your volume sizes are, whatever your free float or market cap is, no matter what, your technicals have to be able to support that next move that's incoming. So not only will we talk about volume on these different stocks and the rotation of how they volume works, but we'll also talk about how to match those up with your different indicators for those of you who are looking into the technicals and trying to understand more of that as well. Let's just get right into it with the stocks making the 52-week lows. In fact, we'll start with the stocks making the IPOs because remember, these stocks, they start out as IPOs. These are initial public offerings. That's when they come out to the market. They don't have any volume at all at that time because they don't even have a chart out there for people to be able to trade. When they do come out, they'll come out with some good waves of volatility in the beginning, but more often than not, that thing will eventually sell back off. Amidst the time of it going down to its 52-week low, as you can see, it'll come in for all kinds of moves, all kinds of spikes. It'll make all kinds of news that comes out that adds to that sentiment. But more often than not, it's going to make its 52-week low before it makes that next run. So it's ideal to get that thing down when it's at the bottom. For a lot of these stocks that you see, they've been out for a very long time. We've seen a lot of these stocks go from IPO to 52-week low, the most active to top gainer. So we already know the history on those things. So we can see a lot more stocks getting volatile at certain times because the people already know what to expect. If you are newer to the markets, you don't know any of these stocks. You haven't felt those stocks, haven't participated in those stocks. You never even read up or you don't know what's going on with those yet. So it's always best to start out at the beginning rather than chase something that's out at the top by getting into what's at the 52-week low. It's the next stop coming in for that next round of bullish divergence. So we'll talk more about your volume and average volume starting out with these stocks on 52-week low, and then I'll show you the rotation. If you are new here, I'm Billy Banks. Make sure that you get subscribed to the channel and join us along in the Bank with Billy Discord. If you want to continue in on your trades, even on the weekends and after hours and whatnot, we do trade cryptocurrency, active leverage trades as well, telling you when to buy and telling you when to sell, of course. Y'all know how I go. Let's get right back into it. So, with IGMS, just a quick example, okay? And we'll talk about volume on different kinds of stocks as well, because of these stocks, as you know. If you don't know, well, now you do that. These stocks have different industries that they be on. So you got IGM Biosciences. This one here has an average volume of 400,000 and a current volume of 320,000. They're getting a free float of 21 million. These will be the stats that we focus on here most in this video because these are the stats that I focus on most as an active swing trader and a day trader. Okay, key terms here we'll talk more about in a minute. This here, if you see your stock with a volume of about 300,000, you got like 400,000 on average volume. Well, that's a low volume stock on average, it gets a low volume. So with having low volume like that, you'll have less activity and less volatility in that stock. As you can see, for an example, for IGMS, that's looking all choppy. You got the barcodes coming in, those candlesticks looking all crazy. Dots on the chart, dots on the chart. You got those dots on the candlestick charts. And you see those little dots on the candlesticks up there. Well, those are still candlesticks, just candlesticks with little to no volume at all, because this stock is getting little to no volume at all. They do often get active here towards the after hours. Almost every stock that people are confident in for the overnight swing are going to start to load those things up towards the after hours. But that's a video about timing, a lesson for another day. Notice how these volumes change on here. A lot of these that we seeing are low volume stocks. Why are we looking at low volume stocks? Because they start off with a low volume. Again, they can have different size of low volume stocks comparable to that actual stock. Like for example, here on WNW, they get an average volume on 2.60 million. For them, 2.60 million is an average value. So around a million is that's not a lot of volume. Now they're getting the current volume of 11.54 million. That's a lot of volume coming in on average in the last day, making this thing get bullish. If your volume starts to outdo that average volume on a current trading day, then you start to watch that stock take an uptrend. But if that thing has a big float, your volume has to meet up with that float. We can look at another example here before we move on to the top gainers. Over the course of time, you can watch your average volume pick up more and more. It'll build up. If people are being more active, if volume is getting more higher on that stock on a daily basis and or on average. Like this 865 million, let's say XTIA done came in for the rounds of bulletins every single day. It's been up on the most active list day after day for a good week or so now. We watch XTIA's average volume start to increase. Is that good or bad, you ask? It could be both. So eventually later on down the line it's gonna need to meet up with that average volume to really get it going. But if you got a low volume and that stock is climbing up in price and it stays being a low volume of over the course of its uptrend, I'll show you on some for example. Let's go back to your top 3-month gainer for example. And we'll just, I don't know, just pick on any random one, I guess. Go to your 4-hour chart or something. As is picking up in volume, it's going to start to get more active. And this at $2. NVST is at $2 here. So having a volume like this is out on that one is good. But let's say it's like NUKK. NUKK up at the high of like $80 where it was, or even all through the course where it's been dropping off to. And it's been getting big in volume because that value can be bearish as well. If that thing is overbought, like I say, your technicals have to match up. That stock is going to follow in the trend of what your technicals are saying. If it's oversold, it's going to go up. If it's overbought, it's going to go down. If that volume is picking up while that stock is going down, it's bearish volume coming in. Your volume will only count for that one day. You're not counting your volume for the last last couple of days. You're not counting your volume for the last week. You're counting your volume versus your average volume for that one day. Keep in mind. I feel I should throw it out there just to avoid any confusion. Okay. Now, notice here. So now we got your 52-week lows. You want to get those while they at the low volume. If they got the low volume and people are starting to pick that thing up, it'll come in for an easier, a cleaner swing. Because of when these things get big in volume, like we previously discussed, that's where you got all the day traders, the penny stock traders, and stuff like that. They're gonna active day traders they have the plan to sell that thing off. So you need to watch out if a stock gets big in that volume during that day. Because those day traders plan to sell it off. Now WNW only got up to 11 minute volume, but picture WNW pushing up to wherever it pushed up to right now is only 40 cents. And let's say this thing done got up to 700 million in value. Well, people would have been wanting to sell some of that off because those are a lot of active day traders in there that are making that value pick up for that day. Once those stocks get off of that 52-week low list, we'll watch them move up to the most active. You've been seeing my previous videos. You already know like all of these that are up here on the most active now came off the 52-week low list. We got RIME, all of them, okay? But the ones we're going to look at are RIME, GCTK, and CRKN because they're the biggest in value. We have already seen, if you guys recall, CRIME get over a couple billion in value. I think RIME got like 2 billion in value specifically. Now, notice how they go back to the sell-off. A massive sell-off, okay? They're back oversold. Notice now when they're back oversold, again, we're looking at volume for the last trading day. Volume only costs 1 day, so only look at 1 day. And the last trading day, they got about 400 million in value. Now, they were getting bullish all through the day, as you can see, loading up. I was starting to build some support down there even. Until the after hours kicked in, and then you just want to dump it all out. And then they bought it right back up to where they started off from. Now, this is the ending volume for that day. And then tomorrow morning session, this pre-market is about to open up. We'll watch your volume update. And you'll be looking for your volume to under the average value. GCTK got about 500 million in value. Notice how GCTK, hold on, let me go back to our 4-hour chart from the 52-week lows, might I add. Coming in with about 500 million in volume in the last trading day. Remember, your technicals have to support it. It was oversold, picking up in massive value. It would become overbought. They would take a quick dip. If you look at a 1-minute chart, that dip will go back down to oversold. But again, very, very active all throughout the day to the point where they only want to sell it off. That volume can be bearish pressure as well. Your technicals have to support it. So if this thing is overbought, and it's starting to sell off, you'll still watch your volume pick up, maybe even faster. So don't be confused. Your technicals have to be in the right position. What position you ask? You want your RSI to be oversold. You want your MACD to be at the bottom, getting ready to make bullish divergence. When that thing becomes overbought, and again, your volume consists of 1 day, okay? And that thing becomes overbought, you're getting ready to lock in gains. Now, if you're looking at a 1-minute chart, you're going to get a lot of quicker bounces in there. That might even get you scared out to sell early, or you could have went in for a full run. So be mindful of that when you're looking at when you're honing into smaller time frames, and comparing that to volume, rather than honing out to wider time frames and comparing that to previous days' resistance and support, which we're going to talk more about in the next video. And the Banking with Billy Discord, we have our 24/7 live scanner that I show you an example of how we use our charts. So as you can see here, when we trade, we as well have our RSI and our MACD on, going from overbought, back down oversold, coming in for the next round of bullish divergence. We do this on a 1-minute chart. In fact, I can go make a quick update to this right now, actually. Let me see. Yeah, so we keep the super trend on. And if you were wondering what that just was, so I have our Banking with Billy classroom scanner we're doing. You see here that we use for our 24/7 live trades, giving us it's a little bit more advanced to what I was just showing you over on the Weeboard. Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain a little bit of this here. So over here in our classroom scanner, we do have our RSI and MACD telling us overbought to oversold. We want to make your move, but we also have our buy and our sell signals. We follow along with our buy and sell signals on our 1-minute chart, and for comparison with our SAR indicator, it's letting us know when to stop and reverse. It's letting us know how powerful that trend can be coming in. As you can see, some spans are wider than others, and as well with your orange line right here or yellow line, whatever color it looks to you, showing you your literal support and resistance that you can see deeper in here. And this over here is on a 15-minute chart showing you the same thing for sell and buy signals. And you can always follow along with your RSI and MACD showing you exact support and resistance ranges. And you know, of course, if it breaks past that resistance range, then that resistance range is going to be the new line of support. As you can see, it would test the new resistance range that was 109,000 and then go back down to test now the new support of resistance one, which is 105,000. And once we retest that, it's bouncing back up, honing in from that over to your 1 minute chart. And that bounce that you're seeing come in right there is all it is happening right here. All of that just happened, that big red downtrend down there, retesting those ranges off to 15 minute, is what you see happening again right here. So we ride it for a longer span using our 15 minutes checkpoints. That is so we can ride it for longer, so you get more dangerous with our support and resistance. And there are 3 levels of support down there. As you can see, this does update once a day on the 15 minute. Every morning, it seems around maybe 1 or 2 a.m. The 1 minute will automatically update with support. I think it just updated right now. It will automatically update with support and resistance ranges by itself. So this is a bit more advanced than what I'm showing you over there on the Weeboard, but I don't want to overwhelm you with too much. If you want to know more about how we use our Baker Blue 24/7 live scanner, and that would be a good, then you can join our classroom for any questions, and I can train you on how to use these and whatnot live with matching those up along with the alerts that do go out along in my section. For example, right now we are up about 1,000% in BTC and 750% in TRX. By following along with the easy trading signals from the Banking with Billy Live classroom scanner, what we got in down at the bottom. That was yesterday, last night. Off that level support level 3. And we're sitting good right now. It's easy to follow along with, and I can show you how. I do leave this running as a live stream on the channel. And I do have 3 other YouTube channels I'm going to upgrade as well. On BTC, that's what this is tracking on BTC. So it's a bit different on BTC when comparing the value. But that's an advanced charting there that we're doing with accuracy. Now, getting back into your most active stocks, though. So notice how GCTK is picking up with its most active volume. It would be a very hot stock on the markets. Now, the thing is, these stocks, like you got CRKN, that's almost a million in volume. These stocks, keep in mind, we've seen these stocks before. We've been in the markets for years. So we've already traded these stocks before. We've already caught rounds in these stocks before. So we're already a little bit used to these stocks more than what a new trader would be. And we already remember and recognize the type of activity and or volume that thing can come in for. As we've already caught previous rounds and things like CRKN for massive bull runs. Well, we've already caught rounds and things like RIME for huge explosions, locking gains. These are off the early alerts that I put out along in my section. Getting ready to put out another list today. Make sure you enter and don't miss this. So you might we know what you're going for. Now, one thing about these most active stocks is they don't stay up on the most active list. They go from here to 52-week low, and then make it on the from IPO to 52-week low. Now they make it up to the most active with all that extra volume and whatnot. And again, remember, if they are picking up in that volume like that from that 52-week low, I think it's probably getting ready to push his way up. Like, let me see which one is here. Like WNW. It's getting ready to start making its way up to that most active list. It only need about a good 100, maybe like 100 million or 200 million in volume. And WNW is looking like it got the highest of volumes out of a lot of these on this list, right? It's the next in line. I'm showing you right now what's next in line. Once they get done with their most actives, this is what they do. They either going, because these are their penny stocks, for example. They either gonna come in for a reverse split. You'll see them say they coming out with a shareholder meeting. Okay, so if they under $1 and they a penny, they get if they under $1 specifically and they under and they a penny stock, then they getting ready to get delisted. So these penny stocks we see get a lot more value because they get more volatile and people be a bit more excited for them. But if they can't get back up to $1, along with all that extra value that they coming in for, because the 800 million in value should have been enough to push any stock well over that dollar. You already know. That's a lot of value on a bullish day. So since they can't make it, they have to come in for their shareholder meeting, and they already did theirs to approve they reverse split. All of their stats will look different. The volume, the average volume, the free float is all gonna get cut way more than half. Like the 700 million turns back down to about 2 million, depending on the size of split that they do. We'll talk about stock math in another lesson. If they do succeed and continue to push on and build up, then the next stop for them is going to be the top gainers. Now, once they get up to those top gainers and they've been running for a few days, that's where we'll see that 500 million in value slow down. As you can see, start to turn back in about 14 million off a couple of days of bullishness. Things will slow down over the course of time if they climb up in price, where penny traders and day traders can't really go for them too much more. Or that, or but not only just that, they'll slow down the volume for all kinds of reasons too. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be big in volume to continue to climb up. As you can see on ROLR, that got 39,000 in volume, while low stat stock has been climbing up for day after day after day. A low stat stock, a low volume stock, you don't have to face all of those most active day traders who are already planning to sell that thing off within the same day. But there's a lot more to talk about on all these. And remember, you want to compare all that to your free float. Since I forgot to even put that in there, your free float is going to be the size that needs to get filled. That's the target to fill. The free float is the cup, the volume is the water. You want your volume to outdo that free float. That's a sign of bullishness. Now, there are many other things to be looking into and understanding, like your analysis, and short interest, your order flow, your financials and balance sheets, your news. It's a lot of other stuff. If you want to know more about advanced trading, how to read charts, when to get in and when to get out, get subscribed so you don't miss the next lesson. I'll be making them all day. If you have a special request, then let me know what you want me to update, and I go on that immediately. You can always join me in the classroom where I'm doing this all day, teaching lessons and doing our live trading off of these live trading charts with updated charting, as you can see, a little bit more, way more updated than what I'm showing you on Weeboy. If you are ready to take that next level up, I'm Billy Banks. I'll see y'all in there. Happy trading.